So I am going to be replacing some suspension parts here, which is going to be fun. I am going to replace the outer tie rod end, which is that right there. As you can see, the rubber is kind of torn up a little bit. I'm going to be replacing the lower ball joint, which is that one down there, which is a little bit more torn up than the tie rod end. And the lower control arm bushings, which is one is there. You can see the bolt going through it. The other one is back here. And you can see that bolt right there. And in order to take the lower control arm off, you have to remove everything. You're gonna have to remove the wheel hub. You're gonna have to disconnect the upper control arm, and you're gonna have to have a spring compressor to compress this spring. I'm going to try something that I don't know if it's gonna work. Well, I'm gonna take everything off, and then I'm gonna take the shock off, and I'm gonna jack up the wheel hub to put a little bit of pressure on the spring, just a little bit, and then remove the lower control arm bolts, lower it, see what happens. And I'm hoping that I don't get hit in the face with a spring, because that'll kill me. Anyways, let's get started. I'm going to say that I did the other side already, so first thing I'm going to do this time is see those two Torx screws, bolts? There's a wire down there. There we go. That goes to it's for the wheel speed sensor. I'm gonna take this off first, because this was the last thing I did the last time, and I had a hard time getting it to come off the lower control arm, upper control arm. So when it finally came off, it went smack on the ground, hanging by the wire, which is just great. And then since it was off, I couldn't really do it very well, and everything was moving around on me. And I ended up stripping one of those bolts, because you have to have two bolts holding down a wire. So anyways, I'm gonna break those bolts loose first thing. Let's get started.
dark, cold world out there. There's a time to live and a time for a man to die. There are places for dead men in the earth and the sky. Don't you venture too far now, 'cause you can't come back from the place where the good guys always dress in black. When you go to the old saloon at the dead South End, gonna find you a man there who wants to be your friend. If you dare to deny his wish, you'll be dead by dawn. So give him a drink and a smile and then move right on. Rednecks with white faces, don't go putting them down. Rednecks with white faces, they ain't no rodeo clowns. Had a dream last night where the earth began to shake. Saw a man that died on the end of a wooden stake. Saw a girl with a ring of gold and a dress of red. Saw a man with a stream of blood running down his head. Playing cool with the man in the top hat, tie and tails. Don't you dare smile at his long black fingernails. It might look like an easy mark, but he knows the score. One bite from his pointed fangs, you'll be under the floor. Rednecks with white faces, don't go putting them down. Rednecks with white faces, they ain't no rodeo Rednecks with white faces, don't go putting them down. Rednecks with white faces, they ain't no rodeo
Alright guys, the only thing holding the control arm on, the lower control arm on now, would be that coil spring there, and the 2 bolts for the control arm. So what I'm going to do, I actually rented a spring compressor from AutoZone, and you can see the springs for some reason stayed in the top, and hey, I'd rather it not be rolling around right now, so if it's gonna stay there, cool, that's cool with me. Anyway, I don't really want to take this off, so there wasn't really that much pressure on the control arm after the spring collapsed, and as you saw when I was lowering the control arm after removing the strut shock thingamajigger, it's extended pretty far. There's a little bit of pressure on it, but I'm gonna break the bolts loose now. It takes a really big wrench. I think it's a 20. Okay, so I think it's a 22. 24 here. It's way big, so yeah, 22 seems about right. Now I found this wrench. Now it's supposed to be a metric size, but 7/8 is a little loose. But you can make it work. Just be careful. If you're starting to slip it, if it's slipping, don't slip it more than a couple times or whatever, because you can see there's some play here, but let's see here. Alright, so really not much pressure on it. I mean, I can actually move the spring like this. So, I don't think I'll die. But, we'll see, eh? Alright. Really not that much pressure on it, if at all. So, I'm gonna get underneath the car and remove the bolts. You know what? Maybe I'll put the phone on the camera on the tripod. Alright, so you can see the control arm. It's a good deal. The bolts are still in the control arm. And that's how you do it. Alright. So, let's look at the damage. Look at this bushing. Yeah, I'd say that's bad. This other one doesn't look bad. I don't really see any cracking to it, but I got them in the kit, so I might as well replace them. Because who wants to come back and do this all over again just because you were too lazy to replace something that you had the parts for? Alright guys, that's how you disassemble the front end on a 2004 Chrysler Crossfire, 2004 to 2008. or a 1994 to 2004 Mercedes SLK320. I hope this video helped you guys, and peace.